Our first chopper comes in and starts hovering over shipping container 1. The Unford's van arrives roughly here. It just feels too blue. They both feel too blue to me. 22 kind of shields them. Second explosion blows this wall out.
With Nil, he has so much of the film in his head before we ever come to set that it really is about just manifesting what's in his brain.
He kind of like halfway through, he remembers that it's left here. Yeah. So it's like he's almost all the way over on the right and cuts across everybody.
Yeah. Doesn't mean there's not plenty of moments of discovery and transformation when we're on set, but you go into it having a very clear sense of what the sequence should be and look like. 2
of them will hop off, leaving, I drew a little mark there just for our one Neopup droid that stays up here and blows up 2 things later.
And that makes everybody's job in the movie easier. It makes something like starting a shoot with one of the most complicated action sequences in the film possible.
Hey, Paul, Mlogo, I don't want to hear a fucking word you got to say. A ninja. I can't hear what you're saying. Say it! Fuck you! Pitbull! Fuck! You got 7 days.
Shooting the compound sequence at the beginning of the film was actually a little bit of a logistical nightmare. We looked for a long, long time, probably about 3 or 4 months for that particular location because Nil had a specific look in his head.
It's like the guy's getting up there and he gets some sort of tactical position and he stays there. It makes sense to us.
You would think that there would be a plethora of empty kind of compounds in this city, and we did find a lot, but none of them really suited the action. Initially it was scripted as a car conversion yard, and then I suggested that maybe they're stealing containers, taking the stuff out of the containers and hawking that off. Then it just came down to basically adding some elements within there in set builds in order to enhance the battle.
Droids! Droids! I'm a winner, you are followed!
The opening sequence was pretty challenging. We had 3 helicopters on one of the days. You got droids and human soldiers in 2 of them. You got another chopper that's got the camera in it. So it's about trying to choreograph working those in.
If we can maintain like an arc that goes across this side, like a 180-degree arc that doesn't cross this line, that's kind of the preference, right? And so within that arc, one of the most important moments is close-ups of humans on the squirrel, touching down here. So the droids are obviously the guys in gray. Yeah. Okay. Touching down on this container, where Cliff's moving across pretty quickly, and the perspective is shifting, and these guys are disembarking. Like, I want to keep those kind of hero moments for later, which is very soon. It's actually when you're shooting at the red car. Yeah, exactly. But it's like you want to go into that like it's aggressive. You know what I mean? And it's like if you're changing mags and stuff, it makes the beginning too tactical.
Look, as you're turning here now, that's the film there. It's like, hey. And then you're almost sort of oblivious to what's going on there. You're focusing on this guy, and then fucking all hell comes loose going.
On our first day, we shot 11,000 rounds, gunfire and explosions from beginning to end, the whole day.
Like this, Baba, don't play. Me, I'm big, Baba. Serious. You want to play, motherfuckers?
You've got Bрэndon playing Hippo, who is also just a real macho guy. I mean, he can do everything.
If you can't take a push club like Hippo, then you can't smoke PK.
Hey, where that?
Hey, I told you not to hit me so hard, man. Yes, man. I'm sorry, it was a joke, man. Your mother wasn't even there that day.
But you said you wanted to push club.
Ah, but please, man, don't hit me so hard.
We're firing, we've got some mortars in the back of the car filled with wet sand. firing at a urethane wall, and this is one of those effects that could knock the whole wall over.
Hey, what? I need my keys, please.
So what we're setting up for here, two things. One, vehicle comes running around this corner over here. The droids see it. We've got two trunnions firing at the windscreen, killing the driver. He veers off to the side. The sniper droid with the big 20mm cannon fires at him, which sends up an explosion. We have Warren coming around the corner on the motorbike to tie it in. Drives along here. We've got a droid standing behind this wall.
So it's bang, and like we get him, and then we whip with the bike.
We've got a stopper line on the rider, and we've also got a jerk line on the bike. So as it hits him, the bike goes flicking into the air, and the rider ends up in the dirt over here. I mean, there's just a hell of a lot going on.
It's a cool, fun action set piece, but at that point in the story, you don't really have a great sense of kind of who your characters are. We found when we spent too long in that section, it kind of started to derail the rest of the act because you kind of had spent too long away from sort of fleshed out characters. So we just kept streamlining it and streamlining it and streamlining it further. And sort of parallel to that, we found that the scene became more and more meaningful to the story the more we made Droid 22 a kind of character in it.
Move out, 22! Go, go, go! Drop your weapons.
And so we started adding more lines, highlighting Droid 22. Some droids that hadn't been 22, we kind of were like, okay, let's make that be 22. Let's make 22 really be like the droid protagonist of the action sequence. And that helped kind of subliminally set up a sort of destiny for Droid 22 to become Chappie.
I'm coming face to face with myself for the first time. It's quite a personal experience. Look how expressive it is. It's like shocked, serious. Oh, I'm gonna kick your ass. Oh no, I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, I'm gonna kick your ass. There's like a full range of emotions that I can portray through this.
Hey, there's the dick right there. I'm gonna get him. Bring it home. I'm gonna get him.
This should be over the top, you know, like the strength that he tears the door off, and the way that it cartwheels across here, and the way that he hucks him out is like comedic and over the top.
There was originally 4 carjackings. Whenever we play it for the audience, that section always plays as people's favorite scene.
Van is there.
Yeah.
Chappie runs across here, rips the door off, throws him that way. Yeah.
It's just so outlandish, this robot covered in bling, stealing cars but thinking that he's sort of doing right. It's pretty funny.
She's like, there's a little change. Look at this Bentley.
Anyway, what we have here is a Mercedes-Benz that's going to be hijacked by Chappie. He unfortunately does some silly things when he hijacks it. So we have replaced the suspension with pneumatic rams, and Chappie's going to come along and smash the front of the car with a huge big Stolson wrench. And then he's going to smash the windscreen out, and then he will go around to the side door where we've got another pneumatic rig, and he will punch the door, and the pneumatic ring will help him to look really strong.
What I'm used to doing is just stealing the emblem. So this time I get to do the whole thing. Very excited.
Bang. Then do a bit at the front. Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah.
Bang.
And then rear view mirror. Yeah.
Then you rip and the mirror. Bang. Then rip the door, which will be a separate thing.
Big smile, man. Enjoying Daddy's car.
Go get him, Chappie. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get the car. I'm gonna fuck him up. Hey! Hey, why did they get his car? You don't!
Chappie basically has just grabbed it, broken the door and the window, and now he chucks it out. So we've got cameras standing by just over the actors. Our plan is to literally yank it across through the water over here down the road, as if he's got a lot of power. And then after that, the guy inside the car on the same system, slightly different point, is ratcheted across the road and landing in the flower bed over here.
Exactly.
Ready, and 3, 2, 1, throw!
One, action! You fucking cock! You don't steal Daddy's cars! Who's good? Action! Get over here! Get in! Thief! Thief! Leave the car! You fucking thief! What's the matter with you? Get in! You thief! Daddy needs the cars nice and fresh so we can sell them. Why smash the car, man? Okay, I see. I see. Please, man, go again. Hey! Hey!
Officer, is there a roadblock? What?
I'm not an officer, I'm Chappie, get out! What? Out, you fucking slut! Stop stealing Daddy's cars! Sit on you! Who's this? Is it Daddy's or yours? What's this? Is it Daddy's or yours? Sus! Don't steal other people's property!
We've taught Chappie how to carjack, and he rips him out of the car, and I jump into the car.
And stop doing 419 scams!
So Yankee's got all this swagger, he gets in, you know it, all right, buddy. And I'm like pinning this car, and I can't get the shifter to work.
Fucking fancy shifter shit. You know, you drive next time, Chappie.
I'm sitting there, and the crew has a good laugh at the fact that Jose, the American's like, oh, the gringo can't drive a car.
It wouldn't let you go and drive.
So the third time, the car just starts to just drive away on its own. And so I'm like, oh, this is gonna look awesome. I grabbed like the roof of the car and the door, and I kind of like heave myself in. I'm like, Chappie, let's go. And it still would not go. And so I look like, I mean, I acted as if Yankee doesn't know how to drive.
You know what it is? BMW. It's Latino proof.
Come on, bro.
The freeway sequence was terrifying because we were shutting down one of the biggest freeways in one of the most congested, chaotic cities in the world.
It shut them down on a Saturday and a Sunday. The logistics of shutting those two freeways down is massive.
Today we're closing off the M2 highway in Johannesburg between Joe Slovo intersection and the M1. We've got 14 positions of lock-offs with traffic officers, approximately 2.5 kilometers of freeway in both directions. A very congested city.
We had great people both on the production and on the other side in terms of the local government who helped us make it actually pretty seamless.
Anyone who's ever gone on to shoot on a major highway knows how much planning goes into that, and everything here in these big locations just seemed to come off without a hitch.
Finally, we have a heist on the M1 highway, which is basically the equivalent of shutting down the 405 in Los Angeles, or that big ring road in London, the M25.
It's very important for Neil to shoot on one of those freeways because he knows them. They are the freeways that he was brought up driving to and from wherever he was going. To shut them down had a lot of red tape.
Shарлto and Neil got some photographs of them standing in the middle of the highway in Johannesburg, and it's just arms up type thing. It's like, we own this road. It is, yeah, pretty awesome.
Literally from about 2004, 2003, Nil had this sort of discussions of heist on the highway, heist on the highway. And finally, in 2013, we're actually doing a heist on the highway, which is crazy. We've got our own traffic that goes all the way back up there. It's definitely my most fun day so far in Chappie, most historic.
We just pulled up and action. So, Grant, right there, is there any way that Chappie could open the door and deal with the guy?
Yeah, we could.
It's just my constant thing of they're trying to make him do everything. You know, like just be in the line of fire. So Ninja, you'd be like, look over here. You know what I mean? Like,
these guys are. Okay.
Like, kind of do this. I think. Like, always keep your attention here. But it's like this kind of fucking money. You know, like so you're kind of throwing words at him. Okay.
Comes out, that guy. Yeah. This is always in your left hand. Yeah. The first star, and then what you have to do is, because he can't see you, you're not going to feel it. He's going to call. Okay. Star. Star. Bang. Okay, boom. So he knows. Okay. Boom. Star. Boom. And then
he comes, what happens?
He's coming out because there's smoke in there.
Okay,
so
I just pull him.
You're going to grab him and throw him down.
Just grab him here onto
as
this
he's going down, then you're going to start.
Start, and these come off the chest. Yeah. Now he's coming through. And
Right
what did you do?
hand,
Right.
hand.
Now it goes into right. Bang. Let go. Clear. Bang. Grab.
Throw, and then before you go in there now, he's moving, he's sitting up a bit, sitting up, and you get the next start.
Yeah. And give him bang into that shoulder there.
Yeah.
But check it out, like this though, right? Like you got the money. I want you to stop here.
Yes.
So the camera's behind. So we have
Yes.
a map.
I got you.
So now you drop it. Now he's just looking.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, he doesn't look good. Now you start.
And as I start,
now
he's
back
go
to
faster
yeah.
than me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like this kind of speed.
I don't want to be on him. Do you want to be here before he's there? I would be a little bit further back. Let him get trapped. You know what I mean? Like I'm advancing.
I think you're kind of, it's almost
even.
equal. Yeah,
yes,
it's kind of even.
Don't catch him. That's
but then
what I mean.
now you compress him here,
At the end bit.
You'll actually end up here, bro.
He's a good actor. I can see why they got you in.
We should do more here. There should be a lot of blood, like 5,000 times more than that.
Yeah.
Go to town, like seriously, like a horror film.
Fire in the hole! And action!
Go! Wait for the boom! I see one! I got one! Medic, I got one with the signals! Nail it, nail it! Get the money, get the money! You! Make him sleep, Chappie, make him sleep! Good night! Sleep! You can't sleep me with it now! Get in there, Chappie!
Just move with him as he forces him back, so we see him scurrying as we're over Shaw. As Shaw comes down to him, frame a two-shot with both of them.
Neil didn't have a great deal of time to shoot the heist, and so Neil thought kind of having a more sort of stylized, expressionistic approach to the scene would be the kind of correct way to go about it. So we started off with the sort of cuts to black, which kind of makes you feel like you kind of imagine a whole scene happening that you're not seeing. And then we kind of interwove it with the material of Dion and Vincent in the office. You're kind of there watching it on the news, and you're kind of imagining more action going on. And so we create the impression of a much bigger scene than you actually see.
I'm sorry.
So these are the stunt guys. Apparently they do a lot of work. From what I understand, from what I've seen, they sit around and talk a lot of shit.
Stuck in the riot, you drive the other way around there. We only go driving on the other side.
We only go with one vehicle.
We take the road at at 6 a.m. and we have everything in there by 6:15, and we're up and we're shooting by 7, and we're in there and we have helicopters, and there's just so much coordination that goes along with that.
Clear the crew out, guys. Let's get to rehearsal.
Hey, Dan, do I have an image from the chopper? That's awesome. Great.
I can also just walk. If you want me to slow down and just, do you want that feeling of like, I'm just coming at you, man. I don't give a fuck about this. It's just, he's a child. It's that same thing, you know what I mean?
No, dude, it's you're right. You should walk. You should just be. It's like the Terminator. Right?
It's a little bit of that, but in a child way. We try and work out how that
I should have killed you in the truck, you godless freak of God! Anyone who dreams or prophesizes anything against God, or anyone who tries to turn you from God, shall be put to death, Deuteronomy 13 verse 5!
No! You don't use guns! You kill mommy, you hurt my people. Why? Why you do the other things?
And then lunge over there, yeah.
I'm gonna kill you!
Raise your right hand, dude.
Mine?
Yeah, like you're gonna kill him.
I'm gonna send you to another place!
It was important for me that the robot was going to become human.
Neil always is looking for the human side to it. As nerdy as it might get with special effects, it always feels real.
You hurt my people! Why? Why are you hurting? I'm gonna kill you for taking my own bad man! I'm gonna shoot you for hurting my mommy!
So we'll change tables. We'll bring the soft top table in.
Okay.
Bring it down here.
So is his head on this side?
His head's up this
His
side.
head's there.
No shooting with the arm!
Cut.
Nice.
No, it's good though, bro.
Be nice to the fellow humans!
Special? No, maybe.
Now I forgive you, bad man.
I just want you to notice how fussy they're being about any glass hurting Hugh Jackman. And I'm just saying, you my witness, Inicia, they were never like that with me on Elysium or District 9, were they? I mean, would they have vacuumed the glass, Inicia? They would have maybe brushed it a bit aside, eh?
Yeah.
Honestly.
If you're lucky.
If I was lucky. I mean, look, they're still going. This is about the 9th time. Every take, they vacuum, just in case. Small little bit, I'm talking like it'll just sort of pop on your skin. It just doesn't seem fair, that's what I'm saying.
Good Friday.
Hugh, all the women swoon whenever he comes around. You know, I just stand in the grey suit. I try to look sexy, my bro. I try to say funny things, you know. Girls like a funny man.
Sorry, Shарлto.
What did he say?
What did you say?
No, seriously.
Okay,
Hey, saw that.
I think they'll.
Is that a padded floor? For Hugh? Is that Matt's?
Yeah, they're putting this in for the stuntman because he injured himself. They're
putting all the pads in for the stuntman, he injured himself and he can't quite take the falls anymore. But when I actually do it, then we strip all that away.
Right.
Are you cool with it? With the stuntman?
Yeah. Is it for the stunt?
Yeah.
No, because I mean,
We need to cut it.
and he's Wolverine, and all the chicks.
Dressing in the rubber gloves. That's a wrap for today.
I need a second opinion.
I think the biggest challenge in making sure that all the moving parts of a film, like the stunts, the effects, all gel together is communication.
James, why don't we just walk through this part now? Just loose.
It's a marathon making a movie. It's not a sprint. You need to be able to have some laughs.
Come on, Chappies from Chappie. Free knowledge inside as well, education. There's free education. Who doesn't have Chappies from Chappie?
In terms of the amount of resources we had and the complexity of the film and the uniqueness of the tone and the physical challenges of the movie, I think it really surpassed all of our expectations in terms of what we were able to accomplish. That it feels handmade in a time in which most things feel pretty artificial.
Gangsta!